launch beside the fabulous pontoon-bodied TR Testarossa Ferrari. Brilliant day, sunshine here at Silverstone. Just in time for this magnificent drive this afternoon where Spencer Martin's expected to break the lap record time and again. The smell of that Maserati's fantastic.
Well, we're at Silverstone here, and Chris Smith has got the camera, and we're following 450S actually, Maserati of Thomas Bashir. And this is my first historic car drive for Kerry Manolis in the 250 TR. It was a little bit of a shock to arrive at Silverstone and find that the car was a left-hand drive, and the next day it was pouring rain, so it was quite a handful. We were having quite a lot of trouble with the car. It wasn't performing well. Chris and myself ended up giving it a tune up, and it went quite well after that, of course. Here's Paul Samuels, myself and Chris talking about the day's happenings. Paul was instrumental in us going over to Silverstone. He'd been over there a few years before, and he helped us
We're just organising some money, a bit of transaction. Make the driver perform, you see. We often
the first race? Is that right? So bets are on. What are the odds?
Well, the
good
odds
odds?
at this stage is that we'll probably improve, or I'd say if we're doing 220s before, we'll, what do you think, Spencer? Down to 12s or 13s.
You reckon? Gee.
That's 3 minutes, 13. You just fit it with disc brakes.
Right. Getting ready for the second race, Spencer? This is it, yeah. How do you think you'll go?
Well, it'd be nice to pick a couple of them off, but we're getting further up the front, and the competition's tougher up there.
It's good, isn't it? Well.
Mind you, we've built in the secret weapon now.
Yeah.
You know, I put a grenade launcher under the front radiator grill.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's the red button there, is it?
Yeah, activated off the red button.
Right, okay.
And there's a handful of tacks in the passenger seat there for the people behind you.
Yeah, you put that tin of oil in the back. We can let that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, we're going to need more than all of that to get up the front, but anyway, a little bit of humour on the way. This is Nigel Corner in car 18. That's a similar car to ours. Nigel was one of the top Ferrari drivers. This is Thomas Bashir with his 450S Maserati. Obviously this is on the grid, ready for the start. There's Birdcage Maserati, number 10. Here we are, up the back a little bit here. Number 16 is us, and then behind us is Paul Samuels. Number 11, that's a Lotus 15. That car would be capable of winning the race, actually. So here we go. We're into it. Had a race-long battle with Nigel Corner here, and we passed and repassed one another, but this is the final lap, so it looks like we've got him, and that's a little bit of a feather in our cap because he's got a very good car.
I would imagine, because having had that spin and the car slowed right down on that final lap. Number 4, Chris Drake, taking 6th in this part. Then we have Paul Samuels holding off John Beasley, the larger engine.
Yeah, so here we are at Spa in Belgium now, and we've got a different car.
We need to put some air in them.
Yeah. we're having a little conference here. Spencer's talking about the tyre situation, the pressures. Got to get them right on this circuit.
This Belgium Spa circuit is would be my favourite circuit next to Bathurst. Great circuit. And there's David Piper there with a cap on. Very, very famous Ferrari driver. There's Gregory Patterson on the right, and Grizzy sitting in the car, Stephen Griswold. It's and that's Thomas Bashir in his 450S Maserati, and that's Thomas's girlfriend, Katrina, and Kerry used to own the car.
Here's the Brabham Cooper Bristol, being driven by Katerina.
Thomas is a very wealthy German. He owns his own bank actually, so he's not short. And here we are on the first lap. I'm running fourth, which is not a bad effort, seeing as our we haven't got anywhere near the horsepower that the three in front have got. There goes Grizzy. Griswold is in the lead with a 5-litre Chev, Lister Chev, and there we go. Down through Eau Rouge, the fastest corner in Grand Prix racing, that is. There goes Katerina. This is a Le Mans start, where we line all the cars up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who won? Did you win? No. Who won?
Lindsay Owen-Jones.
Oh, Lindsay, oh, right.
Sittner and Grizzy third, and Jeffrey just got pipped at the end. Yeah, just got
I had a
pipped.
fantastic race.
By Steve.
I
Yeah.
had a great race.
It's a pretty dull party,
He got me again. I've got an expense. I'm never coming to Sydney, that's for sure.
I used to have a bet with this fella. He's the organiser of the whole event, and we had bets on the Le Mans start. Lindsay Valentine is his name, and he said he'd never come to Sydney. If he did, we'd have to go to McDonald's for him to square up all the dinners he owed me. The guy on the left, Lindsay Owen-Jones, won the race, and Gary Pearson in the middle.
Yeah,
There's
I got
Thomas.
it. I got it. Thomas, I got it. Congratulations.
Thank you very
You
much.
did very well.
Thanks a lot. You're too kind.
Yeah, what a drive.
A well-earned drink there, I can tell you. This is at. This is Spa. This is the Le Mans start that we were talking about. I'm just telling that guy I'm going to ankle tap him. That fellow had a very unfortunate accident not long after this. And obviously the bloke in the white has broke the start, but that's the way it is. They don't call them back, so. A few close shaves here, but it's all very hectic and good for the spectators. Here we are. This is in Germany now at the Nürburgring. This is Cole Peak. Cole came over and did Silverstone in the Nürburgring with us, as did Julian Mazzetti, who you also saw there. This is one of our better races. We're actually leading this one, and we've got two birdcage Maseratis behind us. There's Jeffrey Patterson in the red birdcage. We've actually beaten Jeffrey and to win the race. Looks like Cole's nerves are getting the better of him. He's got to have a smoke. We're back to Silverstone here, and this is Matthew in the 250 short wheelbase. Matt did a fantastic job of this. There's Nick Mason in a GDO in front of him, and Matt did some great times here. There goes Matt. There's nothing like the sound of a V12 in full flight. There he goes again.
You are having lunch. Matt's chewing into an apple. The Chrysler tent. Spencer's reflecting on what's to be.
In another 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Is it? 45 minutes?
About 45 minutes.
Yeah, what's going to happen?
You'll go out there and you'll drive in your impeccable style and put on a nice show, Spencer. That's all that'll happen.
I certainly hope so. I hope we don't mess the record up.
Well, we've got to finish. That's all that counts is finishing. And Alan's reflecting on whether he's going to have to do any work or not.
Yeah, this is Alan Wiley. Alan did all the mechanical work on our cars. He did a great job.
Reflecting on a fabulous practice time in the first session with Matthew in the Ferrari GT race.
Yep.
So what do you think about this, Kerry?
Not a bad event. I mean, the food could be a bit better, but anyway.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't rain, we should be right.
Yeah, all right. And how does Matthew feel about driving the Dino this afternoon?
Should be good. Should be interesting.
Matthew was asked to drive Mr. Jones's Dino, which was similar to our Dino. There was a exact twin to our car. There's Glenn Code there from Melbourne talking to us, and this is the C-type Jaguar which I drove at Silverstone, and here we are with Lizzie and Jojo, and we're all at Silverstone together. This is a very unusual C-type, the second last or the last one to be built, which can be told by the intake on the right-hand mudguard. We have Mark Webber and Matthew. Mark and Matthew used to race Formula 4 together, and in the background is Mark's father, Alan, talking to Leone, and here's Jones's Dino, which is a sister car to the one we had. This has been extensively worked. And here we have Nick Mason and Whizzer Williams. Whizzer in his Jaguar, and I had many great races with Barry Williams, and here's the start of the race, of course. And you'll see Matthew in the red Ferrari making a fantastic start.
Here we go.
Here goes Matt. The conditions were atrocious, I can tell you. The spray and the damp course, there was water running across the course. It was very, very dangerous. And have a look at that. So we go from Silverstone, and now we're at Rome. We're driving around a road circuit which in 1948 Ferrari won its first race around the streets of Rome, and so this is sort of a reenactment, and this was the 50th anniversary of Ferrari. We were on our way up to Maranello, up to the Ferrari factory, and this was one of the events which was held on the way.
Wall-to-wall people.
Very famous car in front of us. The blue car there was Rob Walker car, driven by Sterling Moss in its day. That's 8,000 in first gear. And that was 8.5, but don't tell Kerry. Bit of a bump here. You cannot believe that they'd allow this to happen. The people standing on the edge of the road with the cars going around, but in Rome, that's what happens. Now this is Kerry driving the same car. This is the 250 short wheelbase, and we're on our way up to the Ferrari factory to celebrate the 50th anniversary, and we're just arriving at the control point at Florence. We were travelling up the original Milli Miglia road, and we've arrived at the control point, one of. The enthusiasm of the people and the whole atmosphere was wonderful. There's an imposter in front of us. That 328 was a local who jumped into the queue and got involved in it all, but anyway, he was having fun. Here we are, we're arriving at Maranello. There's Gilles Villeneuve and the entrance to the Ferrari factory.
People again in Maranello.
Here's the car back at its home where it was built. About 40 years ago, this car left the factory right here, and here we are, back again. Looks like it's a bit anxious to get back inside, doesn't it? Well, this is an entirely different car. This is an Alfa Romeo T33 Spitali. Sportiva, actually, but anyway, this is in New Zealand, and we're testing this car ready to take it to America to race. This car's got a V8 engine and a 6-speed gearbox, and is rather difficult in the gear selection, and we also had a sticking throttle this particular day. The enthusiasts will notice the engine revs not dropping as quick as they should. Great little car, great sound, and rather pretty car too. There's the throttle sticking. This is Rapuna Park in New Zealand, and we used to take the cars there, and this is Alan Wiley walking out, and Morrissey's offsider. We used to work on the cars and get them so that they were as perfect as we could before we took them overseas. So here we are at Monaco now.
Hello.
Buongiorno. Grazie.
Spencer, how much fuel do you want in this
There's
car?
Betty and Graham Woods, who were at
fuel
Monaco with us.
Really? But it's going to slow you down, is it?
No, Alan will know how much to put in.
No, he said you'll know how much to put in.
Is that right?
That's what he said. He said, ask Spencer.
Well, I better go and have a talk.
You better have a conference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Morning, Kerry.
Very important conference going on here.
This is a 250F Maserati, one of the prettiest front-engine Grand Prix cars ever built, and
All the action in the paddock.
this is early morning in the Monaco pits, and 29 is Sterling Moss's Maserati, and there's a lot of very exotic and very expensive cars. 25 300S Maserati, I raced one of those for Kerry. 24 D-Type, all very historic. Sterling Moss all geared up, ready to go. Always has a bunch of people around, always people wanting to listen to what he has to say, hanging on every word he's got to say. And here we are, ready to go out. This is John Pentis, owns quite a few cars, lives at Surfers Paradise. Orthopaedic man has helped me a bit too. And noise in the background is a supercharged Bugatti, and this is a very tense moment. The McGuigan brothers, Matthew's sponsors. That's Matthew's helmet. Matthew's sponsors were in Formula Ford for a couple of years. Obviously, I've noticed I left my gloves outside the car, so I might need those. I better have them. And we're ready to go. Behind us is number 2, Gary Pearson. Gary's father worked for Jaguar in the days of the factory works, D-types and C-types.
Going out in a few minutes. Sterling Moss. Thank you very much.
This is a very tense moment before the start of the race. There's Nick Mason. Nick's in the red car. He's a drummer in Pink Floyd. A very nice guy and a great driver. Sterling in number 29. And Sterling's in good shape. Sterling's he'll be in his late 70s there and still drives at a pretty good pace.
Getting ready to go out into the pit lane.
First time I've ever been piped out on a racetrack, and it really added to the atmosphere. This would be the greatest historic event, racing car event I've ever been to, and I'd love to go back there. This is the best meeting I've ever been to, and this is on the starting line, and this is when the emotions are really high and the tension is great. You're trying to work out how you're going to get to the corner first in front of especially the guy on my left who's going to try and get me, and the tension is right on here now. Well, the race is over. We've had a good run. We've actually won our class, Class B. Kerry's obviously very excited, and rightfully so. We've had a good run. In fact, we had about 8 years of history with Kerry, driving really great cars: Ferraris, Alfas, Maseratis, Jaguars. We had some really good cars, and I'd have to thank Kerry for all the great cars that he supplied, and he always had them maintained and prepared properly. Alan Wiley in New Zealand at Auto Restorations and Morris, they did great work on them, and without all this fine tuning you can't get the results. And as I've said before, the car's 80%, and Kerry produced the 80%, and which helped a lot in the results. And I really hope you've enjoyed watching those few little cuttings. Thank you.
It's a wonderful privilege for these guys to be able to reiterate history in this way.
All right, we're about to see the start. This is for sports racing cars over 2,500 cc's from 1955 to 1961. That's the hairpin there, turn 11, as they blast up toward the start line. The 2 Ferraris on the front, Spencer Martin on the right in pole position, Pete Lovely on the left, and Spencer Martin takes the lead as they go over the hill.
Yes, you know, Spencer Martin is quite a driver. He was very good indeed in the 50s and 60s. He was certainly the measure of Brabham and McLaren, and in fact, I think if he'd have come to Europe earlier and stayed there, he could have made a showing in Grand Prix racing, because you just watch this man drive. He has great skills, and in fact, the car he's driving has a smaller engine than the car that Pete Lovely has behind him, and yet he's holding the lead. Perhaps that's because the torque of the little Dino is better than the Testarossa that Pete Lovely's driving.
Pete Lovely, of course, well known to American fans because he carried our flag in Formula One for several years. You see him there in car number 3, now running second.
that both these drivers really know what they're doing. But that little car that Spencer's driving there, you know, the Dino name came from Ferrari's late son, because it was Dino who designed and developed those engines. They won the 1958 Formula One championship with that engine and then plopped it into this little sports car, and it handles beautifully.
These were among the last of the front-engine Ferraris ever built. Enzo Ferrari reluctantly giving up the really classic looks of the front-engine cars for the more expedient rear-engine cars. Here we are at the corkscrew. Spencer Martin, you see how beautifully he handles it. I couldn't agree more. He has a real touch.